Hi everyone, today we're going to be talking about what an aquifer is and how you at home can help protect our drinking water resources. On Earth, we have a limited supply of water, though that supply is pretty darn large. It continuously goes through the different parts of the water cycle and is something we as humans need to survive. Groundwater is one of the parts of the cycle that can get forgotten a lot of the time, and that's because it's out of sight and out of mind. What's amazing though is that 30% of all available fresh water is located below ground as groundwater. Why don't we take a closer look? Here's our groundwater simulator. It's going to help us explain more about how the groundwater moves below us. Water is naturally filtered by the different layers of rock and soil it passes through as it starts to fill up the empty spaces below ground. Why don't we turn on the simulator to see exactly how that water moves? When all the space between rocks and soil is filled up with water and is gathered in a large formation, scientists usually identify this as an aquifer. In the Tri-County region of Clinton, Eden, and Ingham counties, we rely on the Saginaw Aquifer as our primary source of drinking water. You guys can identify this aquifer as the large pink formation in the middle of the Lower Peninsula. Aquifers can be typically referred to as confined or unconfined. The Saginaw Aquifer is what is known as a confined aquifer, meaning there is a layer usually made up of clay or another material that water cannot easily move through above the aquifer and keeps it separated from our life and activities above ground. This means it does not interact regularly with rivers or lakes and is kept under pressure by that layer pushing down on it. In contrast, an unconfined aquifer does not have this pressurizing layer above it to keep it separate from our surface water. It interacts regularly with the water table, the layer where water only fills some of the space between the rocks and soil, and can help feed water into local rivers and lakes to keep their water levels consistent. Do you see how the water table can be at different levels? In general, the water table's level can be impacted by how steep a hill is or how coarse the soil can be. This means there are very wide spaces between the particles of soil that help water move quickly through it. Types of soil that have a lot of sand in them allow water to move quickly, while other types that might have more clay can keep water around a lot longer. But besides the different characteristics of a landscape, the water table level can change throughout the year, or the course of many years, depending on a variety of things like demand from water from wells, droughts, heavy rainfall, flooding events, or warm winters, just to name a few. Now that you've learned more about groundwater, here are a few actions you can take to help protect it. First, understand where you get your drinking water from. Do you get your water from a public supplier like a water utility, or do you get it from a private well on your property? If it's from a well, make sure you regularly inspect the well infrastructure and test your drinking water annually to prevent any possible health risks from contamination. Second, reduce your chemical usage at home and in your yard. When you no longer need those pesticides or fertilizers, make sure to properly dispose of them by bringing them to a drop-off location. Check out our website for more information for a drop-off site in the Tri-County region. Third, use your water wisely, especially during high temperatures and dry weather conditions. When dealing with extreme heat and lack of rain, this can put a pressure on our groundwater resources, since we are taking a lot more out of the ground than there is going back into it to help replenish it. Taking steps using less water and running your sprinklers and dishwashers at night throughout the year go a long way in helping to reduce how much water we consume on a daily basis. Lastly, educate yourself on groundwater and share what you've learned with friends and family. For more information, follow us on Twitter and Facebook at migroundwater or check us out online at mitcrpc.org/mygroundwater, where you can find a wide variety of resources about groundwater, public water supply, and well and septic care at home. If you have any questions, reach out to us through email at mygroundwater@mitcrpc.org.